A very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this very interesting live stream around the human mind in the age of AI. So, we have three of India's leading psychiatrists with us and mental health practitioners with us. Please welcome Dr. Girish, Dr. Rishikesh, and Dr. Naren. They are co founders and mental health practitioners from Manosnati. Hi, doctors. How are you doing?
Hi.
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 Hi, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Great. Welcome to this podcast. So, before we begin, so today's session is completely interactive. So, keep posting your questions throughout the discussion. We'll try and answer as many we can. So, as the topic suggests, I'm Ketan Pathki on behalf of Manoshanti. Artificial intelligence is changing everything. It's changing the way we work, the way we learn, the way we create, the way we communicate, and increasingly the way we think as well. Every day we hear about AI replacing jobs, writing software, generating art, discovering medicines. So but today we are asking a very different question, right? What is AI doing to the human mind? It's making us smarter. Is it making us smarter or simply busier? Is it reducing stress or creating new forms of anxiety? Can AI improve mental health or slowly replace genuine human relationships? And most importantly, how do we remain deeply human in this age of intelligent machines? So that's the core question that we are trying to answer here. So before we begin, one simple question for each one of you. When you hear the word artificial intelligence, what's the very first thought that comes to your mind? Let's begin with Dr. Girish.
Yeah, man, I think now everywhere you see all the media, newspapers. I think every day there's an ad on AI, and it's one thing which is kind of a buzzword you can say right now. And schools and colleges, workspace, you name anywhere, it's there. So it's like how internet became one of the entities during the beginning part where slowly it started engaging. So when it comes to every interaction with humans or otherwise, I think AI is becoming a part of our engagement. So that's one area where I would like to say. And then, yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Dr. Behere, the same question. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the first word that comes to my mind is double-edged weapon, right? So you can either uh, choose to use AI productively, or or as with any other technology, it can also have its downsides. For example, social media, it has so many positive effects, but there are also equal negative effects. So similarly, any technology new that comes in has both positives and negatives, and it is up to us as to how we are going to use this technology.
Dr. Naren?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a
On a
lighter note,
lighter
earlier
note,
the
earlier
artificial
the
intelligence
artificial
used
intelligence
to get
used to get
terminated as the first
terminated as the
thought.
the thought.
Now it is
Now it is
ChatGPT or
ChatGPT
Claude.
or Claude.
But I think, as
But I think
Rishikesh
as
was
Rishikesh
telling,
was,
it is very
it is
important for
very
us to
important for
see
us to see
whether it actually
whether it
stands up
actually
to the.
stands up to the.
So right now, my
Right now,
concerns
my concerns
are mainly
are
that
mainly
whether
that whether
it is a hype or whether it is
hype or
true.
whether it is true. All right, three very different perspectives already, and I think that's exactly what this afternoon is about. So, every technological revolution, whether it is industrial, social internet, social media, and now AI, has brought excitement and fear. So, Dr. Girish, from your clinical experience, is AI actually creating stress, or it's simply exposing fears that already existed?
What happens
What
is, I think
happens is, I think
regarding
regarding
technology, I think
technology,
that
I
is
think that
bringing
is bringing
quicker
quicker
changes around.
changes
So the
around. So
last
the last
century, if you
century,
see,
if you see,
the leaps
the
and
leaps
bounds
and
changes
bounds
have been
changes
in
have
the
been in the
technology.
technology.
So any
So any
change
change
brings in
brings in
the need
the
to
need to
adapt.
adapt.
So that
So that
adaptability is
adaptability is
pushed to the
to the
forefront, and
forefront,
with the
and with the
individual
individual
resist,
resist,
still there's always
there's
a risk
always
of
a risk of
being lost
being
in the
lost in
race,
the
or
race, or
may not
may
have been
not
able
have been
to
able to
cope with the skills to learn. For example, I think the best example where banking sector where the computers came in, the mid-age to elderly had a difficult time to adapt to the computing-based skills. So similarly, any change in itself triggers an emotional reaction and what we call it as stress. And there are some set of people who are able to understand and read it quickly and adapt to it. There is a large chunk of population of people who need a little understanding, little time to cope or adapt. So that's where I think the challenge comes.
That's really fascinating. Dr. Behere, do you agree or you're seeing something different in your practice? You're on mute.
Yeah, so the need to adapt and need to change, as Dr. Girish rightly mentioned. So that is what is the challenging part that everybody faces, because whenever anything new comes, you're used to doing things a certain way, and something new comes, which is drastically changes the way we work. So we need to adapt to that. So adapt. So people who cannot adapt experience stress. And second thing I would like to add is that what this also does is it creates a fear of the unknown, right? So we do not know how life is going to be or how things are going to be 5 years down the line. Nobody is able to predict that. Nobody can, because every month we see something new coming and technology changing, and the way it's affecting our lives changing. So it could be in terms of job, how in terms of job security, or if you're a student, it could be what kind of career I should choose, right? So with every aspect, there is a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty creates fear, and then fear creates anxiety. So that is what we are seeing clinically happening. That this fear of unknown is creating anxiety in the society.
Got it. Dr. Naren, you've heard both perspectives. Where do you stand?
Yeah, I think at this stage is more of catastrophizing. We are actually um are more worried rather than looking at it objectively. My take is that I think at this stage it is overblown. We are worrying more than what is needed. There is definite scope for AI to replace many jobs, but not like every other job in the human history will be replaced by AI. That's the catastrophization which is happening now. So I think it's a balance. Some jobs are going to become irrelevant, but not every other job on earth is going to become irrelevant. So we're not going to see a doomsday with AI. At least that is my understanding.
Right. I think all three of you seem to agree on one thing. AI itself isn't the problem. A response to uncertainty is. I think that's a fair summary. Moving on, the biggest fear today isn't AI itself. It's irrelevance. Millions wake up wondering, will AI replace me? Dr. Bere, what does that uncertainty actually do to the brain?
Right. So the uncertainty creates fear, right? And that fear then leads to anxiety. As Dr. Naren said, that whether how much of it is really hype or are we just catastrophizing, that time will tell. But at this point of time, the natural reaction of a brain is to catastrophize and think of worse negative outcomes that may happen in the future, right? And so that kind of that anxiety, there are, it triggers what we call as fear circuits in the brain, which is connected to the emotional brain, called as the amygdala. That is the root of the anxiety. And a lot of times the our past memories, our past experiences, they also dictate how we view certain situation and how we imagine the future is going to be. So a lot of times it is also individualistic how each person perceives that threat Okay, so AI, basically your mind perceives something which has come new in your environment as a threat, right? And so how much you perceive that as a threat and how much you perceive that is going to be affect the future and your life in the future. So a lot of that is again dependent on your own individual personalities, your own individual perspectives. So how this kind of a new situation affects the brain and its mind is again very multifactorial and depends on a lot of variables.
Um, so, Dr. Girish, have you seen successful professionals quietly struggling with this fear as well, as Dr. Behere mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, we do see at least at the level of, if you look at AI, the banking sector is one where we do have people who come to us with some degree of distress. And I think IT is the one where the I think most affected probably. I mean, at least not that they have been having pink slips or anything, but at least the buzz is in the IT sector where I think there was a discussion on some sectors are trying to replace some segments. Initially, they thought they'll replace the doctors and bring in AI as agents to help, but I think the whole coding process has been taken up by the AI. So all segments have been affected, which are tech heavy. That's the space where we can look into. And what is important is, I think it's not an all or none phenomena where it's going to be like what Naren said. It's going to be it's basically we are generally catastrophizing, and then we are feeling that it is like this. So if we take the medical branch per se, the one of the branch we keep looking into is radiology branch, where a lot of tech-based applications are there, and there is a feeling that the future space of radiological services will change, but obviously it will continue to have the human individuals who would continue to help us in decision. So I think one area where it certainly helps in instant or quick decision making. So there is still a space, but yeah, tech and tech based or tech heavy space is where there is going to be the number of people who will be hired would be lesser, but they will need to be enabled with AI based skills and they will be hired. So that's where I think we are looking at.
Uh, Dr. Naren, I want you to challenge that. Do you agree or you think that we are just catastrophizing a little bit on here or just being a little paranoid?
Yeah. Okay, I think you need to mute your icon. Yeah. So I can think of an analogy because anything that is new causes uncertainty and anxiety is a response that is evolutionarily preserved. So, for example, if three people are walking and somebody sees a snake, one of them may just run away, one of them may freeze, not knowing what to do, and the other one may take a stick and try to fight with the snake or shoo it away, right? So an individual's internal predisposition also makes a major contribution, so that whenever there is a new thing, especially that is something that is unknown and it may affect me personally. So I do think, like Rishikesh was telling, with this uncertainty, some people are worried more in the same field, whereas some others are less worried. So I do think that the entire worry is not justified. That we are going to lose jobs or everybody is going to be in a utopian society where nobody has to work, everything will be done by AI. Both these are, I think, extremist views. We need to have some kind of a realistic assessment. So I do think that it is at present catastrophizing because I can take an example of the driverless cars. I have been waiting personally in Bangalore traffic for a driverless car for 15 years, which hasn't materialized. So, an AI replacing a human in all fields is definitely going to take a lot of time.
Interesting thoughts. Now, let's go to uh, productivity. One of the things that AI is affecting. So AI, people say AI helps me finish work faster, yet somehow I'm working even longer hours. Shouldn't technology actually reduce stress, Dr. Naren?
Yeah, I wish so, but unfortunately it doesn't. I think it only changes what you do. Like before washing machines, people were washing clothes in the hand. Doesn't mean that the workload had decreased. Okay, so the idea with machines when it came was that it decreases the workload of the individuals. But at the same time, what we also need to realize is that there will be new kinds of jobs that will be created. It is not just the old kind of job, right? So I don't think it is going to decrease the work hours or it is going to decrease the stress. But it may change the kind of work that individual does. So I do think as long as human beings are working some amount and for a productive purpose, the stress levels are going to be there in the current status of the society. Yeah, I don't foresee that AI will take out the stress levels considerably. Yeah, it may change the kind of jobs that makes us stressed.
Wonderful points. Dr. Girish, one of the things that AI, as we mentioned, productivity. So, is productivity becoming an addiction, or the fact that AI can actually increase productivity, is it becoming an addiction, and is it resulting in more stress in individuals?
Yeah. So, see, I mean, when it comes to productivity, I think the key is the ability to focus. I mean, the core area where how AI helps. Now, that's the question we need to ask. AI helps to automate, AI helps to bring in kind of a thing. So, it clearly manages information and gives us some inputs. But the human or individual's ability to pay attention, has it been the same? Has it been better, or has it been distractions have been on the rise? So if you really look at it in the last maybe a decade or so, the distractions, I don't know, I mean, they call it about as micro distractions. I think having a phone beside is a kind of a clear cut distractions to everybody's productivity. So how the AI shapes the ability to focus for deeper works is something which needs to be looked at. That's one area we need to explore, because I think that's something which I don't know whether we, but certainly it has been one of the area where we get easily distracted, and we also outsource all the responsibilities or work to the AI, thinking that it will do, and in the process the work which needs to be done by human mind is something which is, so it's a piecemeal effort what it will happen. So that's where I think the whole issue comes up. So the in terms of productivity, I think it's also important to know how to use these AI based applications to services around us in our own effort. So primarily it should assist or align with our own focus. I think that's one area where we need to keep in mind, and it should not be used as a replacement or as a substitute to our tasks. I think that's where I think I leave it. So for me, distraction than towards helping is where I feel it's happening.
Great. Dr. Behere, coming back to you, so are we losing this ability to, do nothing and, always be hustling, right? And just do nothing and just take a step back and in the world of AI, you're already inundated with thoughts, and then AI is kind of giving that direction. So have we lost that ability? Do you think so?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it from an evolutionary perspective, every invention that has happened, throughout the course of human history, is an invention that has brought down physical work that man does, right from the invention of the wheel, to maybe invention of the steam engine, or even invention of the computers. But probably in human history, it is the first time wherein we now have an invention that outsources or takes over the work of the human mind. Right? So till now, every other invention reduced physical work. Okay. But this is first time an invention that has the potential to reduce mental work. And human beings or Homo sapiens as a species is actually a very lazy animal, right? So it will, given given any opportunity to reduce its work and its burden, it is a very easy attraction or a distraction to kind of use those means that are available. So, so AI should be actually used to boost productivity. I mean, that's what everybody has been talking about. But the real danger lies, when routine and mundane tasks are also, or even thinking is outsourced to AI, and then we blindly accept whatever the output that AI gives us without critically evaluating that output. And with that, what happens is that then because the major advantage that human beings as a species have over other animals is their ability to think, right? So the frontal lobe of the brain is the most specialized organ when compared to all other species. When that particular task, if we start outsourcing that and stop using that ability that is innately within us, I think that I see as a major a danger, or a major thing to that we need to be worried about going forward. So rather than that's where the danger lies.
Wonderful thoughts. I just noticed that a few of the audience are getting some echo. Can you, whoever is there on the live stream, can you just uh, confirm if you're still getting an echo? I see some comments that there's an echo or some when we. Okay, because the next section is going to be very interesting. We're going to the effect of AI on the younger generation and kids, and that's a very hot topic these days. So, a lot of audience, a lot of questions. I'm sure you get a lot of parents as a part of your sessions. So today's students have never known a word without AI. Homework, assignments, coding, they everything now is going to be AI. So, Dr. Naren, in such a scenario, what really worries you the most, specific to the next generation, that is the post AI generation that's coming up?
Yeah. Uh, Yeah, so I think the current generation, especially the Gen Alpha, are the ones who are going to be the most exposed to the AI because they have not seen the world without AI. So it is like the Gen Z who have been born with the social media. The next generation is the one which is born with the AI. So, see, my concern is like this. See, when a calculator is available, we are not worried so much that will it impair the ability of the student to learn mathematics, because we do know that it only assists in some of the aspects, but not to take over the whole process. I think the problem with the AI is that it can take over the whole task, not part of the task. Because you give a prompt, ask the AI to write an assignment report, because the current traditional educational system has been based on an evaluation based system in which you evaluate, and that is what serves as whether somebody knows it or not. And in many societies, it has been based on the assignment. So I think the complete outsourcing is what worries me the most, because the AI can write completely, can write a complete assignment or completely do the homework, whatever is given. The concern is twofold. One is if we don't use our brains, the neurons that are not used are going to be dysfunctional. So either we will lose some of the critical abilities. For example, if we are constantly using an artificial help, we lose the ability to have a visual geographical orientation. So we already know that in many situations when we continuously depend on the GPS. Like that, will it result in a less functional human beings when they become old? Because especially in the formative years, if they are not used to use the critical skills, so one part is whether they learn the critical analytical skills. The second part is also that, okay, if they don't learn in those formative years, can they actually learn it later in case they have to learn? Will they have that ability or not? So that is one of my concerns. My second concern is that the complete dependency on the AI can actually remove the ability to question the information that is being provided to an individual. So if the student simply blindly takes over whatever the AI gives as an output and doesn't have the ability to actually evaluate whether there is a possibility of AI making a mistake, because to have that ability also they need to have the critical analytical skills. So my concern is that with the way in which the current generation of students are using the AI, we may lose this critical analytical skill. And if it is not developed during the formative years, what happens when they become future? Nobody knows. Because like Rishikesh was telling this the first time, that the young generation, whoever is in the formative years, what I mean by formative years is between 10 and 16 years or 18 years of age, who are getting exposed and not developing the required skills. So that is a definite concern for me.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have put it better, Dr. Naren. So, Dr. Rishikesh, you run one of the top child psychology centers in Pune. You see a lot of parents and kids who, you know, need help, and as a kid, as a parent to a 10-year-old daughter, I see that, you know, a lot of in school itself, I see AI being introduced very early. I mean, forget colleges, as early as grade 5 and grade 6, people are. I see teachers talking about adopting AI. So, do you see that as a because that's the age when your brain is developing, you're building, like Dr. Naren said, neurological connections and all that. So, introducing AI at that very early age, does it really affect, improve or impede development of a normal child?
Yes, I think Dr. Naren brought out a very important point of the formative years, right? Because that is the age group where a lot of the abilities of critical thinking, decision making, those things are developing. And at that age is when the brain is really growing and developing. And at some point, I mean, I like to use the analogy like the brain is like a muscle. The more you use the muscle, the more it strengthens. Okay, similarly, the more you use the brain, that is how the neurons are going to wire and fire together. Right. So, if there is some process which is impeding that natural ability of the neurodevelopment, that potentially can have negative impacts. But I mean, we really don't know because nobody's really studied it. But but declining cognitive function is something which should really set the scientific community thinking about how AI is going to. I mean, just from a personal experience, before smartphones, we could remember at least 10 or 15 phone numbers very easily. Today with smartphones, we know that all the numbers are saved. Probably I don't sometimes may not even remember my own number, or maybe I at the max I may remember mine and one more person's number. So that there is a definite so that ability to of memory is has definitely dipped. Yeah, I mean, you can also ask the question that was that memory really required in the first place, right? So yeah, but from cognitive neuroscience, what we know is that there is also a concept called as cognitive reserve, right? The more you have used your brain, and you have formed connections in your brain. It is a protective phenomena from conditions like dementia in later life. So if you do not form those or develop that cognitive reserve, right? And so scientifically and from cognitive neuroscience, we know that that is a risk factor for neurodegeneration and conditions like that in later life. Right? So I mean, yeah, I mean, so these are all the dangers that are there. How much of it is really a danger, we really don't know. Only time is going to tell, or we need to perform systematic studies to really understand that. But I think that's a danger that we need to keep in mind. With social media, like how over the years of use, now we have realized, and a lot of countries are now banning use of social media less than 16 years of age. So is that something that we need to consider for AI also, that wherein use is restricted or monitored, or you have very specific use cases where children can use AI? That is something that we really need to reflect as a society.
Yeah, I guess I agree. Now, for parents, I think, Dr. Girish, if you're a parent of, a toddler to a young kid, say 6 to 12 years of age, obviously, what would be, or beyond as well, or preteens, right? How would you introduce a kid to AI? Because see, AI is everywhere. I know I follow discussions where kids discuss, search on Chat GPT, and it's everywhere, right? It's you cannot escape. So what would be the best way to introduce as a parent, introduce kid to AI? Do you completely ban it? I know folks where mobile or social media is being banned. So do you outright ban use of AI, saying no, or positive encouragement with guided where the parent is present and utilizes their time or utilizes their guidance to help the child use AI, or positive encouragement? How do you introduce your kid to AI directly? What would be the best way?
Chairman, I think if I look at this, the first 6 years, 6 years, 6 to 12, I think if you can divide them into two segments. The first segment, I think we should have minimal exposure. This is the best thing. I mean, I don't think so. The kid requires AI because it's too young for the kid, and generally it gets distracted. And the kid requires more of human interactions, and all the more important when we are seeing that a lot of kids having social skills deficits and all there also. So I think it's more best is to avoid in the first 6 years. 6 to 12 years, I think it's better to have a supervised exposure. I think they'll learn. I mean, it's not that we need to teach them. They'll see across in their schools and call schools, and then with their friends, and they'll be knowing more. A lot of times they do ask questions to the text. I mean, basically Alexa to mobile to okay Google. I mean, all these things they ask and try to get information. But I think it needs to be under supervision, and it should not be that they get an unlimited space or exposure to it. They should know about it. Definitely, they learn about it. But I think supervision is required at least till the age of 12, till uh, they know that. So that's one area where, and more of uh, understanding about how the AI works can be something which can be shown as an explorative, meaning it brings in triggers in a lot of curiosity about how the computers work, how is this, all these models, LLM models work. And so I think that's where we need to take them rather than directly jumping into the end user space is where I think we need to move towards. The older adults, I think, like Naren, and I think Naren said the 12 to 16 is where 16 or 18 years is where formative years. I think the need to be making them aware that they should use AI judiciously or responsibly. And then I think a little older, like Rishi said, cognitive reserve is, I think, maybe not the older generation, middle-aged people also should start thinking about cognitive reserve from now, looking at the way we are looking at the future. So that's where I think I think we need to keep. Yeah.
Wonderful. I think those are really great thoughts. We move on to the next section. By the way, please keep your questions coming. We'll have, an interactive question answer session at the end of, towards the end of this live stream. But we move to another very important aspect of where AI is changing uh, our lives, it's human relationships. So people spend a lot of time with AI assistants, hours talking to AI assistants. Some say, you won't. I feel more understood by Chat GPT than by people. And is this addictive? And should that worry us, Dr. Behere, when somebody's spending more time talking to an AI than than with a human?
Yeah, I mean, see, what happens is that AI or these LLM models are designed to agree with whatever you say, right? So when you discuss your thoughts or your opinions with AI, so it is going to agree with what you say, and so you're going to automatically feel more connected with it, because nobody likes to be challenged. Nobody likes a contrarian view. If somebody agrees with you, automatically you feel that, oh, I'm understood by this person, and people don't understand me. Yeah, I mean, but what that does is that it risks social isolation. It risks more interaction with machines. I mean, the same thing that happens with social media use, wherein it cuts off social interactions, and interaction with a gadget or technology is increased. So the same, I mean, so the AI is just going to compound that phenomena, is how I look at it.
Yeah, I think you couldn't have put it better. Uh, Dr. Girish, uh, so there is, just to add on to what Dr. Rishikesh said, so models are getting better. I mean, the earlier models were very robotic, very mechanical, so it seemed like you're talking to a machine or a bot. But now with technology, the bots are becoming much, much more humanized, as they call it. Conversations are becoming more natural. They have different avatars you have. And does uh, talking to a bot replace genuine empathy? In short, can AI really replace genuine empathy? Can it get to a point where it can actually be genuinely empathetic? Because you train a model to be better, like Dr. Rishikesh said, people have their own prejudices, their own beliefs and stuff. The AI can actually become maybe molded to be more amicable with you. So does it genuinely reduce empathy?
Uh, right now, if you look at, I don't have any answers that it'll be able to replace. We need to see, because I think the models are slowly there. They need to have data about these kind of interactions. The therapy interactions, actual human interactions, data needs to be looked into it, and then the models have to be made. Second, then we need to see and compare them with the actual. Is there any difference in the kind of empathy what the patients or the individuals experience when they're engaging with the bot compared to the real human interaction? It's a long way ahead. So, but what is important is, see, I mean, as long as the individual doesn't know that it's a bot or a human on the other side, even the tendency is that he'll engage as genuinely as possible. Now, that's what I think the tech can bring in forward to the extent. Now, the how effective it is something which we need to really know. Right now, it's a little difficult to say, but yeah, I mean, you to an extent, what I think is it may not be able to replace a live, real conversation, which I think will continue to be the gold standard in any interaction, human interaction. It can definitely help us where you can't reach out to the individual in those times where we are trying to buy the time, or we need to wait till the individual reaches out to us. So that's where I think it has some meaning, and it probably helps us in that. But it's still in the process. I think that's how I see it.
Got it. Dr. Naren, so let's say hypothetical scenario. I mean, there are it has become so good that people, it's actually in China and a lot of other countries, not so much in India right now, but certainly other countries there, they're actually trying to have uh, robots or AI assistants, AI companions replace your spouse or if in your relationship. So, what if somebody came to you and said that I spend more time talking to my the AI bot compared to my spouse? Would that worry you?
Yeah. It's no longer a hypothetical scenario, because I have had patients who have told, not that they have told, the spouses have told that my spouse spends more time with the AI than with me, as a complaint, right? So it's no longer a fiction, because we are seeing this in the reality, and it is a definite concern. So few thoughts about that. One is that, like Rishikesh was telling, it becomes more of a rabbit hole in which you are digging deep in to the same thought, and nobody is showing a mirror to you that where is it going wrong with respect to the AI. This is especially true with the LLMs like ChatGPT, who are trained to engage with more and more conversations rather than trying to refute. Whereas a spouse may not agree with every other thing that an individual is telling, right? So one scenario is where somebody wants to just have someone who is always agreeing and then enters into this. But the ramifications of this kind of behavior is multitude. One, we already have seen that many people now prefer a virtual world in the social media than actually having real friends, because of the fear that they may get rejected. And this is something which prevents them from actually trying to make meaningful interpersonal connections in their real life. And the virtual thing cannot replace. And the same thing will happen in a marriage if the spouse is not spending time, because the biology cannot keep pace with the technology. We are all wired, and our human brains are wired in such a way that we do need interpersonal interactions. For example, a touch cannot be replaced by any number of likes. So it is very, very important to understand that some of the human connections are actually still requiring the interactions in the real world, not only in the virtual world. The second concern is also that slowly the AI can start becoming as an alternate way to vent out somebody's frustrations or deficiencies, which prevents them from actually addressing the real issue that is brewing between the couple. So the real issue may go unaddressed because one spouse is actually engaging in an escape mechanism rather than trying to address the real issue. So we are already seeing many individuals, and my worry is that it may increase as the technology becomes more and more better. So the last point I want to make is that there is some amount of anthropomorphism which happens naturally. That is, we start attributing human characteristics with whomever we interact in an emotional way. So, because that's the way we all attribute that my dog felt guilty after doing that. We actually don't know whether the dog felt guilty or not, but we start attributing that quality to the animals. In the same way, it may so happen that because the AI is so conversational, one may start attributing some of these qualities and may look at it as an emotional escape or an escape from the reality in which they are not able to achieve things that they would have achieved in a family relationship. So that is going to be a major concern, because like I told, biology can't keep in pace with the technology, and it can have major implications in one's own mental health.
Indeed, you would have could have put it better. So when I was in just interesting observation to what Dr. Naren said. So when I was in Dubai last year for a GTEx event, there was a Chinese company that actually customizes, your companion. It could be a girlfriend or a spouse. It actually, you can customize the look, you can customize everything. So imagine you can actually have your ideal companion, digital companion. So Scary things indeed. Coming, so keep your questions coming. I think we'll have questions at the end of this round. But then we come to the last part of this before we go down to there's an interesting section called rapid fire, which I will come towards the end, and the audience questions after all. But therapy, right? Now, AI, people are increasingly using AI since you all are doctors. People use AI now for self medication, pretty much everything, reading diagnostic reports, medication, finding about diseases, and doing. So, can AI become your therapist? Because I personally think that's a very dangerous trend. But then, you know, as doctors, you see that that AI can actually help be a companion to therapy, but cannot replace for sure. So, what are you seeing as a dangerous trend, and how do you use AI to be a companion therapist, but not completely replace your therapist?
Is that for me? Yeah. Yeah, I mean that is a trend that we are already seeing. So there are a lot of patients who I have seen who come to me that when I have anxiety, I talk to ChatGPT and I feel better. So whether we like it or not, people are already have started to use these AI models as therapists, or at least somebody whom they can reach out to share their thoughts and feelings. Up till that extent, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because at that point, you have somebody whom you can share, and okay, the output of the AI may give you some suggestions or some tips as to what you can do to manage your anxiety at that point of time. I mean, at least till maybe till that level, yeah, it may be okay, but it cannot, at least at this point of time, cannot replace therapy. Because the main reason for that is we need to understand how empathy works. Right? So, and empathy is a very cornerstone of psychological treatments. So, empathy primarily works by a concept in cognitive neuroscience, which is called as mirror neurons. So, what mirror neurons means is that when so if I have somebody in front of me who is smiling, or so the same set of neurons which are responsible for the emotion of happiness get triggered in my brain as well without me doing anything. Right? So it's like having a telepathic connection. Okay, so when you talk of telepathy, but actually neuroscience has shown that it actually exists, and that is how empathy works. That is how I feel, I can understand, or I can feel what the other person is going through, or I can feel the emotion of the other person. And that feeling of being understood, that somebody has understood me emotionally, which a lot of times happens at this neurological level, and that is what depicts empathy, and that is what is a core is very core to the healing process in a psychotherapeutic relationship. Right. And at this point of, and as Naren said, that biology cannot keep pace with technology. So it is, even if technology evolves, this important biological need for mirror neurons to trigger, and for that empathy to happen, that need is always going to be there, because evolution happens over thousands of years, and technology changes indicate. So that uh, innate need cannot change, and whatever technology you have is not going to have that ability of the mirror neurons. And this has actually been proven in a scientific study, wherein so one group of individuals who were taking uh, therapy with a chatbot. Uh, so one group was told that actually the person who is replying to you at the other end is a human, and the other group was told that the responses that you're getting is from an AI chatbot. Okay, and when they at the end of the sessions, when they evaluated the response so both of them got the same amount, the same kind of responses. But the people who believed that the responses being given by a human felt that felt better. They felt an improvement in their symptoms, and they felt that the a feeling of having been understood, while the other people who knew that the responses are coming from chatbot said that it did not help them at all. Right. So that is going to be an innate need that is going to be there. It is not easy for a machine to replace that important aspect of treatment and a therapeutic relationship. So from with that, I would like to believe that our jobs are safe.
Dr. Naren, I think what love to hear from you as well.
Yeah, I echo what Rishi told that AI replacing therapist may not happen in the immediate future. Um, See, I do think that there are a few things that cannot be replaced, should not be replaced unless few proper safeguards are in place. I think until we also are in a positions in which we can provide accountability to the AI, or an accountability of what AI does is attributed to the AI developer, some of these functions need to be taken cautiously, because therapy is a process in which the individual can report many sensitive things and also can report things that could be of harm to themselves or to the others. So I don't think we are in a position, not from a technical point of view, but from an ethical and a societal point of view, in which we are in a position to handle these kinds of scenarios, that who takes the responsibility and the accountability. So I do think that at this stage, AI replacing a therapist is not likely. What may also happen is that it may become first level of screener. It could facilitate who actually needs therapy, so that we optimally utilize the resources. We could make use of the AI to save the time of the therapist. Follow-up sessions, because a therapist cannot see the patient every day, whereas an AI can follow up. What happens between therapy sessions is something that the AI can be made to use. That proper safety measures are in place, so that the completely it is not outsourced to the AI, but at the same time it is working along with the therapist. So that is the scenario that I can foresee, which will be of judiciously making use of the AI. And like Rishi told, there is no escape, because there are studies which suggest that for more than half the people, ChatGPT is the first therapist in US, especially in the younger population. Before they actually meet anyone else, now they would have asked to one of the AI chatbot and then would have got some advice. What is also very important to remember is that many times it is not a good idea to actually get into the loop of self-fulfilling prophecy, so which can very well happen with the AI. So that is where the caution that I would say that, and based on all these things, I would think that AI may not replace a therapist in the near future, but I think we should see how best to make use of the AI, because it's a wonderful tool. Between session and multiple other things can be done with the AI.
I think I think both of you have come up with some very valid points. So we have this quick round, lightning round coming up next, where we have a quick take on what all of you think. But before that, last question, Dr. Girish, just to add on to what Dr. Naren and Dr. Rishikesh said. So can you talk about, how because like Dr. Naren said just now, AI is there. People use ChatGPT as their first source of information. What would be a positive way, a natural and a positive way for somebody to use AI in accordance with a therapist? What would be the best way? If somebody wants, what would be the best way instead of going to ChatGPT and trying to self-diagnose? First, going to a doctor and trying to understand. So, what is the positive way? And based on your experience, extensive and current experience, what would you recommend? So, if somebody wants to go to a doctor and use AI as well, how would you recommend using it in consultation with a doctor?
I think it's how Google became. I think there's a concept of Google Doctor, so it's just for general physical issues where Google things were Googled. So like that, I think a lot of people would ask ChatGPT whether they need therapy or not, depending on their difficulties, what they put in. So the devoid of personal information, people can use it and then put in and get to know about how to manage. And then also now I think the models are, they may be coming up that they need to reach out to a consultation for clinical evaluation before they pursue further for therapy. Or sometimes there are certain issues which are like red flags, where the individual should know that things are not helping with the conversations with ChatGPT. I think it's the time for the individual to take a decision. Let me reach out to a therapist or consultation for an evaluation. So that's one area. So it's more of AI assisted kind of we can use it as a first aid or a initial evaluation, like what both Naren and Rishikesh said. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one best good area where it can be used as a screening space. And then once an individual requires further evaluation and therapy, I think they need to go through a proper, I mean, an individual and then a space where they can talk and then discuss about their issues. The proper school of therapy also, because that's something which is also there.
Great. Keep your questions coming. The next section that is a very interesting one. It's a call it a lightning round or short takes, where we will this the question. The answer to this question is just yes or no, or one word. It's not a, so you can take your time, but answer is in one word. It's think of it like coffee with Karan rapid fire round with doctors and things, something like that. So, but let's start with one of you. Let's start with you, Dr. Girish. So, quick questions. Take your time and just answer whatever way possible. So, let's start with you. 5 questions, and then we'll move to Dr. Naren and Dr. Rishikesh. Are you guys okay? Should we start? All right, Dr. Girish. So, round. So, what AI? How would you describe AI in just one word? Whatever word comes to mind.
There's a thinking tool.
Okay. Um Mental health in one word for you.
Calmness.
All right. One thing AI can never replace.
Empathy.
Wonderful. One habit everyone should start tomorrow without thinking.
Reading.
I mean, reading. Nice. Oh, that's somewhere we have lost that habit. Reading on tablet or reading a book.
Anywhere. Tablet is also fine. I don't have any issue with tablet. Screens are okay.
One habit everyone should stop immediately.
Outsourcing your responsibilities. Yeah.
Okay. Outsourcing responsibilities. Uh, Sleep or exercise? Trick question, bit of a googly. I know both are important, but which is more important, sleep or exercise? HFX.
Sleep would come to me. First.
Okay. All right. Last question. Which is, meditation or therapy? Which is more important?
I think meditation is something which is self-help tool.
Yeah, Dr. Naren has a point on this. Yeah, Dr. Naren.
Therapy is more of a things that it's more difficult. So
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dr. Girish. Now we'll go to Dr. Naren. Just same short takes. So, what do you read more? Would you recommend more, books or podcasts?
Books.
Books. Okay. So, which is more important, having an AI assistant or AI mentor or a human mentor?
Human mentor.
I figured that. What is your way of working? Office, from a corporate perspective, remote working, complete remote working, or go to office? Which is best in your opinion?
If there is an option, hybrid. If no option, office.
Okay. All right. Which is more relaxing in your opinion, reading or walking? Having a walk in
Walking.
nature or reading? Which is more
Walking.
relaxing? Okay.
Walking.
Walking. All right. Another interesting question. So, would you prefer having a weekend vacation to detox or relax, or do you prefer a daily balance where every day you're taking certain hours to relax yourself? Which is better?
Is there an option both of the above?
Is there an option both of the above? Yeah, only one.
Daily balance.
Daily balance. Okay, all right. Last question. I know that as a doctor, mental health practitioner, you recommend a lot of journaling and thought. So, which is the best way to journal? Is it paper journal, the old school way, or digital notes? What is the best way to do journaling?
Practically digital
Practically
notes.
digital notes. Digital notes.
So
Okay.
with more regularity,
More regularity, consistency. Awesome. Over to you. Thank you, Dr. Naren and Dr. Girish. Now over to you, Dr. Rishikesh. So here's your questions. Uh, Myth or fact? So it's a myth or a fact. You just have to say, is it a myth or a fact? AI will replace psychologists completely. I
Myth.
know that. Okay. Um, Stress is always harmful.
Again, that's a myth.
Okay, it's a
There
myth.
can be
Okay.
instances where it's called as use stress, where stress can actually be beneficial.
Awesome. Children are today weaker than their parent generation or generation before. When I say weaker, emotionally.
I don't think I'll agree with that completely.
Okay, it's a myth. Uh, Success guarantees happiness. If you reach success, you guaranteed happiness.
Again, a myth. Big myth.
Okay. Is there anything like perfect work-life balance exists? We talk
No.
about work-life, but do you think there's always perfect work-life balance? Okay. Okay. No. All right. That's a myth
No, there
again.
is no
All myths.
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, all are
Uh,
myths.
all right. Then another question. I think all of you can chip in. By 2035, we are in 2026. Let's say we take, you know, look at 10 years down the line. By 2035, schools will need to teach what? Most important thing.
Social
when not to
skills.
use
Not
AI.
to use AI. All right. Then the future belongs to people who fill in the blanks. Anybody can answer, or all of you can take turns. The future belongs to people who, in the world of AI.
Can use AI responsibly.
Okay. Dr. Girish, you're silent.
Yeah, same. Yeah, Tracy
Same.
said.
Okay.
What Tracy said.
All right. The biggest mental health challenge in the next 10 years will be what? What do you see as the biggest mental health challenge for people, which you have to be aware of?
Ability to work
Ability to
in the
work
field.
in the field. Okay. Uh,
I think also loneliness and social isolation.
I think that's a very valid point. The loneliness, social isolation. I think that's something which is a unfortunate side effect of using too much of AI and being online. Then fun for questions. So, would you let AI choose your vacation? So, say you're going on a vacation. Would you let AI plan your entire vacation for you end to end? Yes. Or you still would leave something for your planning?
In the end, I would like to
In
edit.
the end, I would like to edit. Okay. Uh, would you? Okay. Last question. Again, fun one. If AI could permanently do one household chore, what would it be?
Getting groceries.
Okay. Dr. Naren is having a white smile. He agrees.
Yeah, good.
All right. Okay, there's a question here. Interesting. Sunaina Roy has a question. I'll just throw it out to the panel. Can people with severe illness still do jobs with AI? If yes, which is the proper one? Very good question. I'll just throw it out to the panel. Whoever wants to take it first.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
Naren, you
think,
want to?
yeah, yeah. Ketan, I think you need to know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's an excellent question. I think this is where AI as an assistant will come into the picture. Um, which is the proper one? I guess which kind of a job is the proper one, or that part is not clear in the question. Yeah, people with severe illness still do jobs with AI, definitely. So vibe coding can preserve the jobs of people who are into the coding with the severe illness, which otherwise might have restricted their ability to do content creation. Um, the Some of the clerical jobs which require repeatability, that is also something that which definitely can be done. So I think AI is a boon uh, if it is used judiciously and appropriately with a human in the background who is running the AI.
Great. Any other questions? Please keep your question coming. We are open. Love to hear from you. Thank you, Sunaina. That's a good one. Okay. So we're still open. Um, just before we end, just one final word from each one of you. Let's start with you, Dr. Rishikesh. On the verge of AI, you can probably channel it along these lines. What is the purpose in the age of AI? I mean, AI, all of us agree it's there. It's going to be, uh, it's going to be everywhere. We cannot live without it. But what does purpose look like when AI is going to probably do everything for us?
Yeah, I think that AI should be looked at as a time-saving tool or as a tool to enhance productivity rather than outsourcing ideas. I mean, it should not be a tool for outsourcing ideas or creativity, things like that. It should be more as an assistant, which is where it is a time-saving tool. I mean, one thing I have kept for myself is, do not use AI for something that you cannot do yourself. Okay, so if there's a task that you can actually do, that is where you use AI to compress the time or save time or do those things faster. And that's how I look at it.
Uh, Dr. Naren, Dr. Girish.
Yeah, I think I would borrow from Maslow. The purpose of life is not about the basic needs, which AI can do, but also about the self actualization. I hope that by taking care of the bottom things, AI will liberate us the time and the energy to actually realize our higher needs. And that could be the purpose of life.
Yeah. Last, last final words from you, Dr. Girish, on this before we close.
I think so. AI is going to be part of our life. So I think finally, it's how we use it also needs to be looked. So it's on a day-to-day basis to how it keeps us aligned with our own goals and also helps us to be in healthy relationships. I think that's where we need to be aware. And yeah, I think I agree with both of the other two. What they said.
Great. Any other questions? Sunena, that's fine. I think Dr. Naren covered your question. Any other questions from anyone? We just have a few minutes before we close. So,
Can we ask you a question?
okay, another question for Sunena, from Sunena. Can coding and critical thinking combined with AI, which needs a considerable amount of focus power, be good for people suffering from ADD and bipolar disorder? It's a pretty long question. Yeah, I guess you can see it. Can one of you pick that one? Um,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's what I
That's
was
what I was
alluding
alluding to.
uh, that for those who have uh, considerable difficulty in maintaining the focus and for those who are having the ADD or the bipolar disorder, then the vibe coding, because the critical thinking with the AI at present is still doubtful. Because what may look like it is thinking is actually still a probabilistic model that is being run in the background. So I don't think there is a major critical analysis that is happening, because if 1,000 people keep on writing the same things, the AI may take it as that is the most likely thing and that is the most critical thing. So I don't think the critical thinking part is there, but many other things can be combined, and the activities that otherwise would require a lot of focus power can be done with the AI. So I agree with the first part of the question that vibe coding is something that is definitely useful, because I do have some of my patients who with the ADHD adults who have been able to do this and make sure that meeting deadlines, which was otherwise was a major difficulty, is now not that big a difficulty. So that is something that definitely is a possibility.
Yeah, Dr. Rishikesh, you had a question. You was before Sunaina asked us. You had some question or something.
Yeah, so I had a question for you.
For me, okay.
No, so what is your perspective on this? Like like you are from a more of a tech background and not from the psychology field. So how do you look at this issue and topic?
Um, you mean AI, particularly how will AI? For me, I would look at it as I'm looking at it like a companion. I'm looking at AI not as something that will replace what I do, but it will help me uh, become better at what I do. And I think the reason is because I don't let AI do the thinking for me. I channelize my thought using AI, and I know my end goal that I need, what I want to use AI for. And the problem happens, what I'm seeing when I work with teams and work as in corporates, and when I work with other teams who use AI, is when you outsource, like you said, outsource your thinking to AI and let AI. You don't know what you want at the end of it. If you know what your end result is, what your end outcome you want, how you want it, and then you have, and that comes from experience, that comes from having worked on it in the pre-AI phase, and then of course AI helps you manage those processes a little better. So that way, I think it is a great help. I don't look at it at all as a threat in any way, but I can see where it is coming from, where the threat is. If, and also the other thing is, it's something which is, it keeps you on your toes. The second important thing, because AI is so dynamic. You mentioned Cloud Code earlier. It was not there 6 months back. Cloud Code is now everywhere, wants to learn. Now you have a lot of other models coming up. So AI is so dynamic that what you learned 6 months back will become obsolete. So you have to constantly be on your toes to learn the new things and keep yourself. So it's a lifelong learning now. You're a lifelong learner. I mean, that's always there, but you cannot rest. You think that you have learned everything 3 months, your knowledge is already obsolete. So that keeps you on your toes, keeps you always buzzing, learning new things. So those are the two biggest changes that I see with AI, at least for me personally, and that's what I also tell my teams and the people I work with. Okay, Sunena has another question. Okay, seems like she's talking about, actually my body gets very heated up as I'm fuming hot air out of me when I try to focus more. Any solution to it, and does any help? So, Sunena, can maybe we can take it offline? So that seems to be a more of a personal, or anybody wants to take that. You can probably connect with Dr. Naren, Dr. Rishikesh, or Dr. Girish separately, because it's difficult to why that it's a very personal and a very specific case that you have outlined. Any other question which is more generic, we would be love to take it. Thank you, Sunana. Okay. So, I think any more questions? Let me see. All right. Take a minute if there's any other one coming from either Sunana or somebody else. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Naren, Dr. Rishikesh, and Dr. Girish, for your time. This was a great discussion. I'm sure there's a lot of inputs and insights the audience could take from this. And once again, have a good rest of the day, and hopefully we'll do another one very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.